Hello, friends of Tangled Hearts. Welcome to our channel, where stories of love and passion unfold. Let's begin our exciting journey into the world of human relationships.
Laura. It was one of the happiest evenings of my life, our Pearl 30th wedding anniversary, which we celebrated with family and friends, many of whom had been at our wedding many years ago. Cole looked especially attractive. He was always fit and strong, a hint of gray at his temples suggesting a future silver fox appearance, but his piercing blue eyes never changed. I could only hope that he still looked at me the same way. I was 52, but still fit and only 3 kilograms heavier than on our wedding day. I had splurged on an elegant evening dress and new high-heeled shoes for our party and spent the whole day preparing. It was so nice to greet old friends and our now-grown children, nieces, and nephews. They did most of the work in organizing the evening. We managed without speeches and simply wished everyone a good time. Later, Cole invited me to dance. Everyone stopped to watch us. It was so reminiscent of our wedding night. Cole smiled at me, his look a bit melancholy. "Thank you for 30 wonderful years of marriage," I replied with a smile. "Thank yourself. You're the ideal husband. I couldn't be happier with our life together. You've been an excellent wife." I felt that Cole's response sounded a bit disappointing and a bit strange. We continued to dance before he spoke again. "You're handling it well. I think for the entire evening I've seen you glance at him only once. Sorry, but who are you talking about?" "Don't start lying, Laura. It's beneath your dignity, and after 30 years of devotion, I think I deserve the truth." Silence. "Fine, if you're going to play dumb and to dispel any doubts, I'm talking about your boss and lover, Charles Davenport. Unlike you, he can't take his eyes off you." Suddenly, I felt very sick, and I thought I could pretend. Tears welled up in my eyes. I hoped the onlookers would think I was overwhelmed with emotion because of our anniversary. "Don't cry, Laura. You're the one at fault here, and keep dancing unless you want everyone to know there's a problem." I didn't deny anything or ask how he knew. He deserved more. "I'm sorry. No, I don't think so. If you were sorry, you wouldn't keep going back to him." This was a planned, intentional, and repeated act. "It's not that simple." My voice cracked. "It seems quite simple. An affair with your wealthy boss. How long has it been going on?" "I'm not exactly sure. Probably a few months." We continued to dance. All eyes, including those of the children, were fixed on us. God, if they knew what we were talking about, I would be devastated. "How often do you meet him?" "Business trips once every few weeks, nothing inappropriate in the office." "It's not what you think. It's not wild, passionate sex. For that, I have you." "Then why?" "Usually, it's said that a woman needs more than a man can offer." "No, never." After he lost Lucy, it was more about friendship and consolation than anything else. He was depressed, and I was trying to help him recover. Cole laughed. "How noble. I suppose spreading your legs was very timely for him." "Don't. It wasn't so vulgar. It was about love and care." "So, love. You mean, you love him, Laura?" "I have feelings for him, but not like I do for you. Everything is so tangled now. It shouldn't be tangled. If you love someone strongly enough, and you seem to love me enough to hurt me, I never wanted that. I never thought that you would find out." We continued dancing, with a few more couples joining us around the edge, again like on our wedding night. "Stop it, Laura. You knew the consequences. It's a betrayal of us, regardless of whether I know about it or not. Isn't this the moment when you swear eternal love to me, say that all this was a terrible mistake and that you'll never see him again?" "I'm not sure what he will do if I leave him. He really had depression before, just unhappy or clinically depressed." "Don't be so cruel. He was suffering. I thought he might reach the point where he would end it all." The song ended. "Well, let's go and talk to the man in question." "Oh my God, you're not going to make a scene here, are you?" "Depends on what this jerk has to say." When we approached, Cole disdainfully looked at Charles's extended hand and left it hanging. Charles withdrew his hand with a puzzled expression. "I would like you to tell me about your relationship with my wife and how you had the audacity to show up at our anniversary party." Charles began to stammer in response. "I don't understand what you're talking about." I interrupted him. "He knows, Charles, and there's no point in denying it." Charles nodded, quickly regaining his composure. "The truth is, I love Laura. I'm sorry it hurts you, but I can't regret my feelings for her. She saved me, and if it weren't for her kindness, I'm not sure I would still be here. I didn't mean to be sneaky with the party. I just thought it would be strange if I didn't show up, since everyone else from work is here. Seriously? Using your deceased wife as a pretext to seduce a married woman, that's pretty low even for you. Get lost. I didn't do that. We just grew closer through grief. I was completely distraught. You lost your wife and took mine, and you were feeling bad, so everything's fine. Is that the line you're trying to draw? I interrupted. He didn't take me. I am still here and still your wife. We can fix that, my dear, Cole growled, but I'm sure you'll just land on your feet or on your back. Your lover, now that he's recuperated, can offer you all the money and trappings. I looked around, worried that people were starting to pay attention to us. You'd better leave now before I lose my temper, you little piece of crap. Cole turned to me as Charles quickly walked away. Keep your playful face on for another 30 minutes, then we'll leave. It shouldn't be hard for you, you're used to lying. I'd prefer the kids not to know about this damned farce after all the effort they put in for us today. I nodded, suppressing sobs, as my heart was tearing apart because of him. Today's wedding celebration seems like a fitting end, don't you think? I regained my composure and felt some anger. Don't be ridiculous, we're not breaking up over this, we can fix it. With these words, I quickly walked away, trying to reach the bathroom before I broke down. I wasn't looking for an affair. After all, I was happy in my marriage with a wonderful GUY.my boss. Charles always flirted, and I liked it, although it never went beyond that. Everything changed when his wife Lucy died. He was so grief-stricken that it was visible how life was literally draining out of him. A sociable extrovert, who had an endless stream of jokes and could make people feel good, I tried to cheer him up. We all did, and as a result, we spent several lunches together. It was during business trips that we grew closer. I knew it was helping him cope with his grief, and it felt so natural to spend time together. Sex was secondary. I thought about telling Cole, but he would never have accepted it. Women who do such things must be so naive. It's potentially worse than the affair itself, as it affects a man's pride and ego, and this cannot be taken lightly or ignored. The truth was, I thought I could get away with it without hurting him, as he would never know. As soon as Charles recovered, he swept me off my feet. He was so grateful. It seemed in his eyes I could do no wrong and was his savior. I told myself we needed to stop, that the crisis was averted, but no sooner had I convinced myself, he made me laugh and feel so good again. Charles was more refined than Cole. He had a subtle charm and competence that I liked. He was decisive and in many ways the complete opposite of my calm and rational husband. My worst-case scenario was Cole finding out about it. I had thought it all through and prepared excuses, feeling very ashamed for causing him pain. And by the way, that was absolutely true. That I loved him more than anything in the world. Now I was less sure of that, as I had developed serious feelings for Charles. The truth was, I was no longer sure about anything, and if pushed, I would say I was in love with both men. I was absolutely certain that Cole would forgive me. He was so in love and devoted to me that I just couldn't imagine us apart. No matter what I had done, how the hell did he find out, since we had been so careful? On our anniversary, he outright asked me about it. I hesitated, and then couldn't look him in the eye. I knew it was pointless to deny and get angry about the accusations. The next day, I sat with Cole, who looked devastated, as he turned to me. You don't seem too stressed about this, maybe you don't care? That's not true. I love you, I care so much about you. And about him. Don't forget, he matters to you too. You can't even give up that bastard for me. I tried once more to explain about Charles's depression, our friendship, and the growing feelings. Then Cole surprised me by asking about the purpose of my upcoming business trip. My answer sounded weak even to myself, nothing that couldn't have been achieved with a simple phone call. So, it seems all this is very carefully planned, and the business trip is just another trick to cover up your ongoing affair. I tried to explain that it really wasn't an affair. Okay, then, to cover up that you're sleeping with another man. Oh, I walked right into that. I needed to try to steer the conversation, to make Cole understand that not everything was so bad, that this was just a tiny part of our life. Before you found out, how would you have described our marriage? Happy, successful, the perfect marriage that everyone thinks we have. That's wonderful. I feel exactly the same way. I have my reasons, but I know I am doing wrong. Despite this, I've always tried to be the best wife for you, and we have a perfect life together, yes, except for the fact that you're sleeping with another guy and building this perfect marriage on a facade of infidelity and lies. That shouldn't affect our happiness. We are fine, especially lately. I feel that in some way I've become better, more attentive to others. Yeah, you seem very pleased with yourself, I grimaced. Damn it, Cole, these smart comments don't help. How did you even find out? So, we're teetering on the brink of divorce, and all you're concerned about is how I found out. Is it just so you can cover your tracks better next time? You apologized, but you didn't say you'd stop seeing him. It's not that simple. I'm not sure he'll be okay without me. I think he'll fall into another depression. Wow, I guess that tells me where I stand. Your priority is his well-being. What if I fall into depression because my wife is a cheating whore? Will that bring you back to me? I had never seen my kind and gentle husband so angry, and certainly never towards me, and it was scary and sad to see him like this. I want you to leave. This is my home too. Leave now. Just go to hell, Laura, before I do something I'll regret. I decided to go to my best friend's house. Then it hit me, Wendy, my closest friend, was the only one I had confided in. Most likely, that's how Cole found out. She had threatened to tell him, and she must have decided to follow through. By the time I got there, I could barely contain myself. I confronted Wendy, saying, Cole threw me out, and the only way he could have found out is if you told him. I didn't say a word, Laura. It seemed like she was not categorically denying it. How could you? How could my best friend betray my trust and destroy my marriage? Her response shocked me. You know what, Laura, fuck you. I'm Cole's friend as much as I am yours. I've known him for over 30 years. I told you that all this was madness, and he didn't deserve any of it, but you never listened to me, and I didn't tell him a word. I've been avoiding him for the last 3 months, to keep your dirty little secret. It's pathetic to act like a lovesick teenager. The only person I betrayed is him. Now get out of my house. Crap, getting thrown out was becoming a habit. Where the hell could I go? To Mom's? It's like the Spanish Inquisition. To Charles? That would definitely be the end of my marriage. In the end, I had to go to my mom's and make up a story about a minor argument to deflect most of her questions. Wendy, I realized that I needed to do something important, really important, even if it meant paying a price. 20 minutes later, I was knocking on Cole and Laura's door. Cole opened it, looking terrible. Please tell me you're not here to justify her. No, I'm here to admit my fault and apologize. Cole looked puzzled. Then you'd better come in. I laid it all out. I'm sorry, Cole. I knew she was seeing him. I begged her to come to her senses and make her understand what she was risking. I'm really sorry I didn't say anything. She's my oldest friend, but you're my friend too, and I should have said something. Cole seemed to be deep in thought. The silence lingered, and finally, he spoke. I understand she put you in a difficult position. Damned if you do, and damned if you don't. I smiled. Typical Cole. Calm, rational, kind. What do you think? Why did she do it, Wendy? I think she believed she was saving him. At first, it was friendship, but then it turned into something more. Are you sure that kicking her out is a good move? Won't that give him more opportunities? Cole nodded. Talking didn't work. She got lost in some romantic Mills and Boone love story. I agree with you. She sees herself as the heroine who saved a good man. That's why I thought, if I kicked her out, she might at least come to realize it a bit. I have no idea who she needs more, me or him. Maybe she doesn't realize it now, Cole, but she needs you. You've always been her strength and support. Laura, I knew it was risky, but I needed help, and Charles would know what to do. He was the smartest person I knew. I called him. He was happy to hear from me and suggested we meet. As usual, we agreed to meet after work at a prestigious restaurant, and I made an effort to dress up. I wanted to stay married to Cole, but I needed to keep Charles interested in case the worst happened. If Cole didn't take me back, then Charles would be my backup plan. After all, he often told me he loved me. We had just sat down when Cole and Wendy walked in. Damn that bitch, I burst in on them just as they were sitting down. What the hell are you doing with my husband? I think the same thing you're doing with Charles. I've told you many times I think Cole is a great catch, and if you're foolish enough to give that up, well, I turned to Cole. You can't do this. We're married, a fact you seem more than ready to ignore. He glanced at Charles. It's just dinner with a friend, nothing more. By the way, really nice outfit. If I'm not mistaken, those are your seam stockings, and fuck me heels. I guess he's in for a lucky night, or rather, another lucky night. I felt my face turning red, damn it. This was all supposed to be different, a romantic interlude, and now I'm standing in a restaurant, and my husband just announced to everyone that I'm wearing stockings, ready to sleep with another man. Wendy glanced down at my legs. Black seam stockings. A bit cliché and blatant. Maybe you should try a sexy nurse outfit. After all, you're supposedly concerned about his health? Wendy turned to Cole and smiled. Personally, I find nudity much more sophisticated. I saw Cole raise an eyebrow at her. Jesus, she was flirting with him right in front of me. That crap told you everything just to break us up. She didn't do anything like that. In fact, she was trying to be your friend at my expense. I hadn't seen her until you accused her the other day, after which she came and apologized. She explained that you were her longtime friend and that she repeatedly tried to convince you to come to your senses. I must say, her apologies were more convincing than yours. I didn't know what to say. It was just so disappointing. Going back to your boyfriend, Laura? We're done. I burst into tears and ran out of the restaurant. Damn it, I'm losing him. Even if we managed to save the marriage, I saw that it would never be the same. I went from being loved so much I was put on a pedestal, to barely being tolerated. I couldn't figure out how they knew we would be at the restaurant. It couldn't be a coincidence, and they were clearly prepared to see me with Charles. Charles again offered his help, saying he could explain everything and smooth things over if we prepared and met with Cole together. The suggestion sounded implausible, but I was willing to try anything. Cole was always quicker than me in discussions and arguments, but I knew Charles could match him. Cole was shocked when I returned to my old home with Charles. He stood up, and I thought he was going to attack Charles. You've got to be fucking kidding me? This involves all of us, and Charles is here to help explain things properly. It was my turn to be surprised when Cole calmly sat back down. Well, it's nice that we're a trio in this relationship. I can't wait to hear this. I ignored his sarcasm and began, from the very beginning, I want to apologize to you. It was never my intention to develop a relationship with Charles, and I never wanted to cause you pain. I know it's hard to believe, but I truly love you. I also want to apologize, Charles spoke up. If I were in my right mind, I would have never crossed that line. I was ill. I can honestly say that without Laura, I would have ended my life. She saved me. You look well enough. Is she still saving you, or is it just sex now? You shouldn't have pursued my wife just because you were sick. It's still cheating and complete betrayal. Charles turned to me, his steel blue eyes piercing. You preferred him over me. I never did that, but I couldn't abandon a friend in such circumstances. You could have been a friend without spreading your legs. I disregarded the crude remark and began the speech I had prepared with Charles. It wasn't planned, we simply grew close in difficult circumstances, and feelings developed between us. I'm sorry for causing you pain, you don't deserve any of this. As far as I understand, we have a few options. Oh, really? Then please enlighten me. Well, you can divorce me. It's the last thing I want, but I won't resist if you want it. The children are already grown, but they still need you, they need both of us. I would split the money however you want, and I believe you'll be fair. But this option would ruin all our plans for a wonderful life together. I still want to share all of this with you, if you'll allow it. And if we divorce, you'll move in with him? We haven't discussed that, but yes, I think it would be inevitable if you decide to leave me. You're not the one who got dumped in this crappy show. I didn't dump you, you kicked me out. The second option, I could stop seeing Charles, and somehow you'd forgive me. I'm not sure if that's possible. It would eat away at you, and you wouldn't trust me. I can't abandon someone I have feelings for in a difficult time. I would never forgive myself for that. Cole laughed. Really, in a difficult time? He's the least depressive guy I've ever seen. He's like a cat who got the cream, don't you see he loves it? I tried not to let that comment distract me, though I saw Charles grimace slightly. Or we continue as we are now. You said you're happy, and I want to keep making you happier than anything else. My relationship with Charles shouldn't affect you, we still respect each other. Cole started laughing sincerely before catching his breath. Respect, really, you have no idea. I continued, in turn, I would agree for you to date someone else, even if it's Wendy. I think you're a lone wolf, and I doubt it's for you, but I'll understand if you want it. I don't want to explore anything beyond you and Charles. We could be honest, I would be the best wife for both of you. No running around, no secrets. We'll try to build trusting relationships between the three of us, and that's the option I would prefer. Cole stared at me without blinking, as if seeing right through me. I prefer option 1. Let's get divorced. He was so serious that my heart pounded in my chest. The reality hit me hard, what I could lose. I agreed to this ultimatum, assuming I had a ready backup plan in Charles, and ultimately, he might turn out to be the better option if I had already ruined things with Cole. Now I wasn't so sure. And one more thing, did he come up with this nonsense? I turned away. Charles looked just as awkward. God, Laura, are you really listening to this crap advice? If I'm not mistaken, I think someone's trying to advise actions to break us up. You couldn't have said anything more antagonistic even if you tried. Charles exploded. In these circumstances, it's a perfectly reasonable suggestion. Shut up, Charles, you know divorce is my only way out, just as you planned. Tell me, Laura, besides you and Wendy, who else knew about your affair? Well, no one, just Charles. Really, so maybe he boasted to a friend or friends about how he's hooking up with a hot MILF from work. That friend mentions it to someone else, and suddenly lots of people know, and maybe one of those people just happens to know me. A cynic might assume someone might have made sure the message got to me. Cole looked at Charles, so that's why you came to our party, isn't it? You knew I found out, you wanted to see the fallout, maybe hoping I'd air it all out, and you'd be there to pick up the pieces. Nonsense, I didn't know anything like that. Funny how Wendy found out so quickly about your little rendezvous at the restaurant, through a friend, which seems very convenient. We went there to try to reason with you, yet you immediately ran to your lover. It took me some time to realize he was happy about our presence. I teared up. Why would he do this? He loves me, he'd never cause me such pain. It's obvious, he wants you all to himself. He's done everything possible to get us to divorce, he's just as likely as I am not to agree to share you. He's not like that, tell him, Charles. What does it matter? He made his choice, to leave you and divorce, we can be together. Cole continued, were you even depressed or was this all part of the plan? Of course, I was. I would like to see some medical evidence confirming this diagnosis. I've traced who told whom, all the way to you. Perhaps I may have let something slip to someone. I wanted to tell the whole world about us, Laura. So, you pretended to be sick, took advantage of her sympathy, pushed for the affair to continue. In short, I found out about it, and did everything possible to break us up. Is that the bottom line? So what if I did? We should be together. I'm a wealthy man, and I want to live a full life with Laura. I loved her even when Lucy was alive. The sound of a slap echoed through the room. Charles grabbed his face. You damn scum. Before I could slap him again, Cole stood up, grabbed Charles by the collar of his shirt, pulled him to his feet, and pushed him forward, slamming him into the front door. Consider yourself lucky. If I ever see you again, you won't be so lucky. With those words, Cole opened the door, lifted Charles to his feet again, and literally kicked him out of the house. In panic, I rushed to him. I was a complete idiot, Cole. I can't believe I trusted him. I'll resign and never see him again. It's all a terrible mistake. I forgot what I had in you. Everything you do without even thinking, checking if everything's okay, embracing me, your calm sense of humor and fun, and how you agree with most of my crazy ideas. Please, give me another chance. I can't. You can, if you really want to. Is it because of Wendy? No, we just went there to try to bring some sense to you, just like kicking you out of the house, so you'd understand this isn't a romantic tale. We're just friends, she and I, with something in common. You betrayed both of us. It worked. I felt so jealous when I saw both of you. It felt like my world was crumbling. After that, I didn't think you'd take me back, and as a backup, I stayed with Charles. I never wanted to hurt you. Wanted or not, but this is what you did. You rejected me, made a fool out of me, and ruined our life together. I'm the only fool here. Cole, please, give me another chance. We've had 30 wonderful years together. The lack of anger surprised me. It's too late, Laura, you wanted someone else. I wasn't enough for you. That's not true. I was just trying to help a friend. Stop it, you must know you're lying to yourself to ease your conscience. You enjoyed what he offered, our life together wasn't enough. It'll be hard for you to come to terms with this, but it's very simple. You're a lying deceiver, nothing more. I think it's time for you to leave. Please, don't make me leave. You'll leave or I'll leave. In the circumstances, it should be you, don't you think so? 6 months later, we divorced, fairly easily, without any fuss, except in my life. We did everything online, no lawyers, consultants, or courts. I moved out, went back to my mom's, and took a step back in time. It brought back all the memories of how I lived there and how eagerly I met Cole. Memories pierced me of the wedding morning and how I prepared at my mom's for the best day of my life. In the end, I had to admit to friends and children, they began to hint that it must have been Cole's fault after all. He was an attractive guy and probably got carried away. Neither my parents nor the children could believe it at first, and only when I completely broke down did they realize the full truth of my betrayal. They didn't disown me, but the relationships were never the same. Charles repeatedly tried to contact me. I never replied. He was an absolute snake. It turned out that the one who claimed to love me was the one who betrayed me, and it cost me everything I cherished.
As we conclude our journey into the world of human relationships, please remember to subscribe, like, and share our content.